If you're struggling with getting A2P approval in HighLevel, this is a video for you because I'm going to go over step by step and going in depth into going through the A2P registration process from the website, getting the phone number, all the way to going through the registration process. So let's get started. Hey, my name is Paul Kim, and I help agency consultants and especially beginners get their first or next high-level client by focusing on the fundamentals and getting clarity before you even start building. All right. So in today's video, I'm going to go over in depth, step by step. It is a long video, so just bear with me. If this is something, I hope that it'll be helpful for you to get A2P approval, but I'm going to go over everything from website, setting up the necessary pages, and getting the phone number, and then finally going through the registration process. If you stay till the very end, I'm going to show you the three different ways of getting A2P, going through the A2P registration. And so HighLevel is constantly changing the process. So this is for 2026 and beyond. All right, so let's get to it right now. All right, so if you've watched my previous video, I had we created the initial website page for this website. So the goal here is to create a website that you can, when you submit the A2P, to get it approved, right? And so the main thing is that we need to have the company information on the website. Make sure they have a privacy policy page and a terms and condition page, as well as information on the company, right? And then also an opt-in form with the necessary language. Now, you have to understand that A2P registration process has been changing. And at the time of this recording, I'm going to give you the information which works today, right? But it may change a couple of months from now, in the next couple of months, or maybe next year. And so I'm also going to go over the basics of some of the functionalities of websites in this video, in case you're not familiar with HighLevel's website functionality. Just the basics for you to at least go in there and make the necessary changes that is necessary for you to get, whether it's for yourself or for one of your first clients or so. Okay, so this is considered the home page. So if you look at the three dots here, right, and you go to settings, right, you can put in here CGS Group right here. That's the name of my company. In this case, you know what we're going to, you call it whatever. Let's just say, company name, right? Whatever the company name is, right? And then, and typically you would call this home page, or whatever you call it home page. And let's go and update it. And so you have this home page here. And now what you want to do is you want to create kind of a framework for this page so that you can clone this, so that you can create the terms and condition page, as well as the private policy page and any other pages that you want to create, right? And that's but in order for you to clone it, you have to make sure that all the stuff on this page is the template, like like using as a framework. Okay, and so let's go in here and we're gonna go ahead and make the necessary changes. So the main thing when you go on this page is you want to make sure that the footer and all the way at the bottom, which is this section right here, which is the footer, right? You want this section to be, if you also want this section to be the global. What it means by global means that if you make a change in one page, it'll make changes on all the rest of the pages. And so you may want to, let's see here. Let's just go ahead and make the change here. So um, one of the things, because this section, right, just to have you understand, the way that this is HighLevel's website, I guess, or their system um, of creating funnels and website. And so, and it's very, what do you call it, user friendly. And that's why I like it very much. And it's not like when you use HTML or coding on a website. So this is something that I believe an average user can go in and make changes. I don't do the changes. My designer will does majority of the changes, but I'm going in here because I know the basics. Okay. So in this case, you don't see this. You see the save icon? It's missing from here, and only because it's very narrow. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this settings, and then let me move my face over. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to increase the size to maybe just like that so that I can see this save button, right? Let's see here, 40. There we go. You see the save button? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to save it, and then I'm going to save this as a, global, let's say, global header, right? And then it's a global section, and then I'm going to click save right now, and then it changes as valid. So this is a global, and so if I make a change here, and let's say I duplicate this page, and create a privacy policy page, any changes that I make on this will be what the changes will be basically replicated or will be replicated on all the other pages. Okay, I'm just going to save that, and then I'm going to change this back to 12, right? Back to its normal self. Let's see if I go out, and that's it. Okay, and I'm going to do the same to the bottom, this section right here. Now just thinking about it, do I want this? Possibly. That's up to you whether you want to make this a global as well as this. So for the purposes of this video, I'm just going to make this portion the bottom, right? Let's see. Actually, no, this whole section, no, my mistake. Actually, this whole section is a section. All right, so my mistake. It is actually here, and then I'm going to call it global footer. Okay, and then it's global section, and then click save, and now this becomes a global, and so I'm going to save it. Right, and so what I would do here, right? You see right here, private policy and terms and condition, and so let's go to the top and just kind of going over and explaining how, don't worry about this SEO and AI search optimization. We'll talk about that in another video. So for this, I just want to help you understand. So this is what's called a section, right? And you have the ability to add elements, right, within this section. Let's see here, layers. I don't want to talk about this like, from a designer's point of view. From my point of view, I just want to make sure that this gets um, uh, looks it's what I would call it's making sure that all of the buttons and works so that when whoever looks at, whether it's Twilio or when you're getting A2P registration, they're going to go on this page, and you want to make sure that every button works, the opt-in form works, and everything. Okay, so in this case, if there are, I think each of this section here, I'm going to just go ahead and pop up if in order to publish it, I have to select the domain. So let's just go and preview it. And I want to make sure that each so if we go here and you click on solution, it takes you down here. So it is working. Process, it takes you down here. Review, right? And then reviews takes you down there, right? FAQs takes you down there. So from my point of view, all of the buttons are working. All right, so if we go back here and I'll show you how that works. So if you look at this navigation solutions, you see right here where it says solutions, right? And if you click on this button, it says go to, and then it tells you by the section, and it um, it specifies right here section. All right, so Cheryl, I think what I'm gonna do here is uh, where I left off, where I talked about this navigation, right? I'm gonna hopefully there's a place that you can go back and edit and go starting from that portion, that part, okay? All right, so after we have okay, after we have made these global, you see at the top, what you want to make sure that every button that is on the website, it goes to the appropriate place, right? And so if we look at the solution, process, and review and FAQ, you just want to make sure that that is going to the right place. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to preview the website, okay? And just click on solution, and it is going down there, right? It is, and then process, same thing, and then reviews, and then FAQs, right? So that's going down, and then get my offer. So now get my offer it's not doing anything. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use, let me move this over here. I'm going to use this form for, and use it as um, the, when I go through the AP2 submission, I'm going to use this form as what they're going to base the information off of. And so I want all of the call to action to go to that form. And so I think this is probably going to that form. So let's go get my free consultation. And then if you scroll, it's a button, right? And then if you scroll down and it says scroll to element. And so what we're going to do is we're going to go down all the way down to this part right here, right? Let's see here, row. Custom here, final consultation right there, right? So it's going to scroll to this final consultation call, right? And then I'm gonna go down here, go up here and use that. I'm gonna probably change that. Instead of saying get my offer, it says get my I'm just gonna put it here, consult because you don't want to make it big, so consultation, right? Maybe we'll just say get my consultation, right? And then we're going to click on, oops, nope, and click on find that final. And so in your case, if AI has created an opt-in page or a section where it has the opt-in, that's where you want to direct it to. Okay, so there we go. And then save. And and then just go through and make sure that any place, any call to action, you want to select it to go down to the final. Let's find it, final consultation. Okay, and then scroll. Right, let's see here. We did that. We took care of that one. All right, and here the same thing. Contact us here, right? And I mean, if you want to go a little bit extra, but in this case, what we want to do is get this website up and running so you can submit the A2P registration. In the future, I will probably create a separate contact us page, and then possibly, create a. It depends on how you design the website, but for the purpose of this, we just want to just create one opt-in page. Okay, and so contact us. And then here is the opt-in page, and click save, right? We're going to work on this opt-in page afterwards. What I want to do first is focus on the private policy. And so what you want to do is in here, you want to create these links in here. We don't have the pages set up yet, but I will what I want to do is, let me just see. Let's go ahead and duplicate these pages. If the client already has a Facebook page, you want to, let's see, click on this icon and see if, yeah, see right here, right? And if you want to go ahead and put the links and information there, go ahead. Same thing with Instagram, LinkedIn. If they don't have it, then I will go ahead and delete this, right? So if you don't have a LinkedIn, go ahead and delete. You can go ahead and delete this whole section if you want to, right? And then here, just a little bit of what I would do here is instead of putting a the year, I would probably put a code. In HighLevel, there is a way that you can put the code for the current year. I would go ahead and do that. And I'll put the exact code. Actually, it is that one here with right now .year, and so that will always constantly update it to the current year rather than so let's say in 2027, you don't have to worry about updating that year. Okay. All right. So and the same, what we're going to do here, I think we don't know the what do you call it, the URL of the private policy and the term, so we'll just leave it for now. Here is probably what I would do is put the address, right? So I will put in here, let's just say CGS Group, right? And then the address, right? In this case, is 319 Queen Anne Road, right? Teaneck, New Jersey 07666, and then I will put in here the phone number, right? And whatever the phone number of your business is. And I would also put in here email as well, right? I'll put in here just the info. Okay, and if you want to put the hours available, you can do that. It's up to you. And now you've created a framework that you can now go ahead, and now we can go ahead and clone this page, right? We're going to clone this, and we're going to select this location. No, actually, we just go ahead and clone in this website. If this is where you have multiple locations, you could actually clone this to another account if you wanted to. Okay, so let's clone this page in this website. All right, so now we've cloned this page, and now what we're gonna do is we're going to go to settings, and then we're gonna change this to terms and condition, right? And then we're gonna call this terms, right? And click update, okay? And then we're gonna go ahead and edit this. And what we want to do is we want to go ahead and pretty much keep the header, and we're going to delete everything in between, right? Um, right, delete, delete, delete. And now you have the header. This is delete this portion as well. If you wanted to create a contact page, you can use it. You can potentially use this page as a contact page, right? All right. But I'm gonna, for this purposes, I'm gonna delete it. And then what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna add a section, right? I'm gonna add a one column, no, section here, and full width. I believe this is full width. And now we've created a full width, and then what we're going to do is we're going to add in here one column. Let's see if I can create a, what I probably would do is create a headline here, right? And then just put it, actually, I think recently what I've been used to in HighLevel is utilizing these headline. But the other thing that you can possibly do is they've added this rich text formatting, right? So I think instead of dealing with, let me just show you exactly here. So instead of dealing headlines, subheadlines, and paragraph, you can do it all in rich text here, right? So now this, you can create here terms and condition, right? And if you want to center this, let's see here. There is in the, let me move my face over, and you have the ability to change, yeah, right there. So all of the stuff that that changes the formatting and everything here. Now I don't know if there's a way to center break it. I would, if you are not familiar with this, maybe, I'm going to stick with my old method because I'm not too familiar with this new formatting, and for the purpose of this video, I don't want to waste my time. So I'm just going to go ahead and create it based on headline, and then I would just create a paragraph, right? I'm going to have a future video on how to SEO optimize this, but it doesn't matter for this purposes, right? All right, so let's create a call it terms and condition, right? And then all you could do is create a paragraph, and then this is where you would add the paragraph. And then this separate section, if you go here, you can actually center left align it. So that way it looks like it's, you don't want to center the line every, like the terms and condition. You don't want to have it centered. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and save that. And now we have the terms and condition page. Okay, and now let's go back and duplicate this, clone this page, right, on this website. And now you've created, now we're going to go ahead and change the setting on this to privacy policy, right? And then you want to call it privacy, right? Privacy. Okay, and click update. And then you're going to go ahead and edit this. And then you're going to call it privacy, right? And privacy policy, right? And what you fill out in here, I will tell you the 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 method, but let's go ahead and just I have all the information here. So let's go ahead and, as I was saying to you,
What I would do is, um, if you have some sort of AI, now there is, um, what I would call, here, let me just pull my ChatGPT. Um, you can go, there is, various websites that could generate terms and conditions. And so if I Google, I think there's one called Termly. Um, that's what I used to use before ChatGPT. Um, I also use another platform called Ubenda, I think. Termly, as you can see, Termly is one of them. And then the other one I have, which I use because at the end of the day, you don't want to, for myself and my clients, I want to make sure that we're compliant and like, do we need to constantly update it as changes in each of the states or countries? And so, because I don't want to be constantly be monitoring those, I use a service called Ayubenda. Um, and you can also use Termly, but I believe that Termly it's like, um, you use it once and then it generates it, and then you have to go and generate it again if there's any changes to the uh, the state's regulations or whatever regulations. And so, and it's not like it changes a lot, but um, you want to make sure that you are fully compliant yourself as well as your clients. Okay. And so, for the purpose of this video, I'm going to show you how to use ChatGPT, right? And basically says, I'm going to ask ChatGPT, I would like to generate terms and condition for my uh, and privacy policy for my client's website. Okay. And then it's going to, um, it says you don't want to create a generic template. So what I've done before is, you know, people have created generic templates and they give them to you, and it's up to you, but they don't give you specific instructions, right? And so what I'm doing here is, please be mindful, don't use generic templates, that because you are creating liabilities. And so when you input into ChatGPT, you need to input the business name, URL, location, what they do, right? And what do you collect? You have to make sure you tell what email, phone numbers, and tools that you use. And if you don't want to wait, okay, so basically, if you don't want to wait, it tells you to plug and play. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this, right? Now, what you want to do is, you see right here, today's date, and then uh, the website, and you want to replace every one of these, where it has the business name, email, phone number, and you want to make sure you update it, right, to that's applicable to your whatever you're doing, whatever you're filling out. And so for the purposes of this video, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just simply copy this and just to show you how to do it, right? So here, right? Um, and one thing to note, I think, especially if if you're doing a client that has a business, um, whether it's especially if you're doing DBAs, okay, because that is because you have to register with the original company's name, and then whether it's DBA, that's where it gets tricky. And so I would recommend, if you have questions like that, join my community and ask those questions, or you can make comments in this video below. But the best thing to do is just join my community. Um, First, get our course, my free course on basically how to go from zero to your first client and then join our community and ask those questions in the community. Okay. All right. So we're just going to go in here and I'm just going to go and click delete that and paste. And so you're going to have to do a little bit of formatting here, right? Effective date and change and put the spaces wherever you need to do and change the formatting as you see fit, right? So if you go here, right, if you see, you put a bullet point here, right? Go and put a bullet point. Now, how do you find the bullet point? It is, let's see here, for the purposes of this, um, for the purpose of this video, what did I just do here? Okay, so okay, I did something here. All right, not sure how to create bullet points. What I'm just gonna do is just put a dash, right? Just, oops. So basically, as I showed you at the before, when you make a change, it's going to effectively make changes on all of the global. And so that's why you want to make sure you make the header and the footer, um, what do you call it? Global, right? And so let's go ahead and make all the necessary changes. And yes, this is kind of tedious work, but it is something that's necessary for you to get A2P approval, right? And you're also in the process of kind of creating the framework for you to create the website for this client as well. Okay. All right. So now that you've created, let's just say you're finished with the same and created and copied over the terms and then also for the private policy as well. Now what we're going to do is we need to create the form. Okay, and so let me just take a look at this preview of this page. Let's just go ahead and take a look and, oh wait, hold on a second. Yep, there we go. And so if we go and look at this page, it already has a form, as you can see here. And so what we're going to do is we're going to modify this form and make sure that it has the right wording. Now, the wording can change, right? Has changed from what it was a year ago to now. Now, it may change another in the next year or two, right? So that's why I encourage you, if you want to get updated and keep updated as I go along. I'm gonna update not only not gonna update this video. This video is going to be on YouTube, right? But if it does change, the best place to get the update is probably my course that I've created or in our free community. Join the. I'll put the link below. And so let's go ahead and just change this form. So we're gonna go and create. Let's go to, let's see here, forms, and we're gonna go to builders, and let's see here. The form here that I'm looking for is, and let me just go ahead and click on the name, the specific form that I'm looking for. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and edit this, and let's go down to the form, and I'm gonna click on this, and it's gonna say, I'm not sure why it has the editor. All right, because this was done by AI. So what it did was it created its own form using HTML coding. So what we want to do is we are going to replace this and get rid of this code, and we are going to insert, let's see here, let's go insert, and we're going to insert a form, and we're going to use a form that, all right, so as you can see here, or you may not know this, but HighLevel is constantly changing the way and always making improvements. And this is not how the forms that I used to remember, because I'm not in the back end of this like on a daily monthly, weekly basis. I have a staff that takes care of it, but what I'm showing you is that um, high level, a lot of the stuff is very intuitive, I guess, intuitive to me, and that's why I like high level. So here, what we're going to do is we're going to create a new form, right? So what we're going to do is create a new form, and as you can see, it is, let me see here. So here's a form builder, right? And basically it creates already the form that's necessary, as you can see, right? You want to make the first name, last name. Let's move this email up and phone number. And as you can see, email, um, I think that the phone number has to be, I believe, optional, right? So let's just go in here and see if there is a way to change the settings. Here we go, right there, right? And what we're gonna do is we're gonna make it optional, right? The phone number. And then also here, what we're gonna do is I'm gonna change it. So at the time of recording this video, I don't formally have a course like, and I'm gonna be making not only the course, but also a snapshot where you can easily download this information to the most current. I'm going to keep it up to date as current as possible, so that it lessens the work for you. So that snapshot includes all of the necessary items. So get if you sign up with the link below and opt in, I'll give you everything that you can, basically start and get running, or not get running, but actually, you know, have all of the necessary templates. So I'm going to do here is I'm going to change the wording as of today, what is going to get you approved, right? It may change in the future, but let me just go ahead and do that. All right, so I copied it. I think it has all the necessary information. I just made some minor changes to when I created when I said create new form, it had the most of it was correct. I just made some slight changes based on because I had multiple phone calls with high level to get this messaging done and get it approved in my most recent client. And so what we're going to do is change the name of the form here, and we're going to call it free consultation. You can call it whatever you want. Consult Free consult, let's just call it. Okay, and then we're going to go ahead and save it. All right. Oh, one thing to make sure is that this form, okay, let me just go ahead and change this. Where's the setting here? Here, the settings. You want to make both of these forms has to be optional and not required. Okay, you cannot make it required. If you make it required, it is not going to pass A2P registration. All right, so we're going to go ahead and save it. And then let's go ahead and change this. So now you're going to get rid of this code right here, and we're going to just delete that. And we're going to use this, right? Even though it looks a little, big, just going to go ahead and save it. And now you're ready to connect the website to your domain. And so I'll show you that. I don't have any. So I was looking this morning about as previous to recording this video, I was looking at and trying to figure out what domain should I use. I do have this one domain, and I'm gonna share with you so that I can kind of give you the specific directions on how you can uh, map the domain for the purpose of this video. All right, so for the purpose of this video, I'm using Namecheap. Now, every domain provider is gonna look differently. But what you want to do is you want to go to the domain that you want to use. Like for example, whatever domain, right? And you want to use the root domain, meaning that it's got to be the main domain for that specific company, right? If you are going to, of course, use the now you have two choices. If you are going, you already have, if you're doing it for a client that already has a domain, and you got two choices. You either have to go and access their website, and you have to create a separate page for what we just done, and update the website. That's choice number one, right? Or the other choice is for you to create a subdomain and make your pages look very similar to the 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 page of your client, or because it has to look, so previously what I did was I just had a landing page and it didn't have all of the brand colors and the company information. And so your privacy page and the terms has to look, I believe that's basically based on what high level staff has told me, is has to look very similar to it. And it can't be just a landing page. And so um, what I tend to look, if the client's website needs work, I would recommend that we update the whole website and we redo it. So I hope that clarifies what I'm talking about. But in this case, what we're doing is we're mapping the domain. Um, and so let's just go ahead and do that. I'm going to move this aside. And then what we're going to do is we're going to, let me see if the form, I just want to make sure the form is, here's the free console form that we just created, okay? And so we're going to go ahead and we're going to map the domain. And so what we're going to do is we're going to go to domains here and we're going to connect domain. As you can see, these are things that I was working on. I can probably delete these. So we're going to connect the domain. We're going to connect a website, and the domain is going to be this specific site right there, right? One. So I'm using this for demonstration purposes, right? So it's just a website that a domain that I had that I'm not really actively using, and so I'm just going to use that. And then we're going to go ahead and you have to actually put HTTP as, right? And let's just go ahead and I would use without the www, and I'll explain. Uh, because what it does is that you also want to create a www and it will redirect traffic to the non-www. Okay, so if you don't know what I'm talking about, you don't have to worry. Just do what I tell you. Now, in this case, I am now logged into Namecheap on this browser, so I'm going to add it manually, right? I recommend adding it manually in most instances instead of letting high level update it to your domain provider. I just like control over things. Okay, so add it manually, and then we're gonna add these records, and that's why I'm showing you the domain. So if, every domain provider is going to be different, and so in this case we're going to have advanced DNS, right? And we're going to go and add. So this is actually going to, um, but I know this is not um, I definitely not utilizing this URL. So I'm just going to delete that and I'm going to add a new record here and I'm going to call it a record, right? So like I said here, and we're going to copy the host and the value. And so um, every provider is going to be very similar to this. You're going to have a host and a value, and the host is this, right? So you're going to put in the @ symbol, and I'm just going to copy this value, right? And then the host is @ symbol, and then you're going to put that value and then copy it. I mean, just say check. I hope that works. Why isn't that working? Oh, it just took a little bit of time. And then I'm going to create the next value, which is the CNAME, right? www, and I'm going to copy this value. And then I'm going to add, add new record, and we're going to call it CNAME, and then www, and then put in, and click check. All right, so now that we have those DNS records, and then what we're going to do is we're going to click on verify record, right? And that may take a minute. It could take 5 minutes. And so I'm just going to keep on doing it. You may have to do it multiple times. It's typically pretty quick depending on the provider. All right, so that actually did it in one shot. All right, so then what we're going to do is we're going to create, it's going to be map to the website, and then you're going to find that web. And in this case, we whatever website that you created. So in this case, Sages Group, and you want to go to the home page, right? Actually, I should call it the home page. And so it's to the company name. So as you can see, there's a terms and the private policy. I'm gonna call it, gonna map it to that page, and then you're gonna say proceed to finish. All right. So now you can see, as you can see, it is mapped, right? Um, so the old ones needs to be updated, but don't worry about that. So um, and then as you can see, there's also a redirect here for that. And so what I'm going to do here is there's two more things additional before we uh, finish off here. I'm going to take this and I'm going to copy it. And the reason I'm copying is because I'm going to go back to the site and go to the website and go back, because now I have to make sure that when people are clicking on the terms and condition and the privacy page at the bottom, it is going to the terms and condition. Okay. Now I'm going to go down to the bottom, right? And I'm going to click on this section right here, and I'm going to go click on highlight this, and then I'm going to click on to, you see right here it says link, and then what we're going to do is, and that's the reason why I copied it, because I'm going to do HTTPS // and then I'm going to call the mapping the terms page, and I um, I probably would like it to open up as a new page, as a new window. And so I'm just going to go ahead and you want to, it doesn't, either way, it doesn't matter. Typically, if the way I think of current window, new window is, when people are navigating within your website, you don't want them to open up a new window every single time. But for the purposes, just for the terms and the privacy page, I'm going to just have it open to a new window. Okay. And then, actually, I think that was for the privacy page. So that was my mistake. And then we're going to cancel. I'm going to save it. And then I'm just going to, oops. Right. All right. And then I'm going to click on that again. And it will be privacy. Privacy. Got to learn how to privacy, and I'm going to copy that, and I'm going to do the same here for terms. And in case you're wondering what I'm pressing, oops, let me go save. And if I click on this and then I click on shift end, it just it goes to the end. Just a little keyboard trick. Or you can just go click on highlight like this, right? And click on the link and then put in terms, right? And then new window, click save. And then now I go and save it. It's a global file. And then I'm going to publish it, right? And then let's go and take a look at and view the website. Oops, okay, still showing it as let's go ahead and click on. All right, so let's assume you mapped it to whatever the company name is, right? And then the domain. And as you can see right here, it works, right? And so if you click on um, solutions, right? Request free consultation, click process, right? And then reviews, right? And then FAQs, and then it takes you down here. Um, Probably want to make a little bit changes. There's a little bit, but those are cosmetic. That doesn't, it's not nothing to worry about. Um, now we're ready to pretty much submit. Actually, I forgot. Not only do we have to change this privacy here, so now I just want to make sure you see, oops, privacy. Yeah, it's still going to the wrong place. It's going to terms, and this is, all right, so I'm gonna have to update that. And then also, I also need to update that as well in the forms. Okay, and so I'm gonna go ahead and make those changes, and then I'm gonna show you how in here what to do with here. So free consult is the form right here, and at the bottom of here, right? See right here. If you click on, and all you do is you click on add link, and that gives you the ability. And so you're gonna go ahead and change that according to whatever private policy and terms of service. It would You could call it terms of service or terms and condition. Either or, as long as you stay consistent, it's fine, right? And so let me go ahead and make those changes, and then we're going to go ahead and submit the A2P registration. All right, so I updated everything, and let's just go and make sure that it is correct. So privacy, as you can see right here, right? I didn't update the information, but as you can see, it is linking to the terms and condition. And so there we go here. And then the same thing, privacy and terms and condition, right? All right. So let's go ahead and proceed with the A2P registration, getting a phone number and getting A2P registration.
All right, so one of the first things that we need to do before, of course, submitting A2P is to get a phone number. And so within the HighLevel account, you're going to go to settings, and then go to phone system, and then you're going to add a phone number. So let's go to add. And this is where you're going to filter. Of course, you want to get a local number and an area code that is within the location of that business. And so you're going to do a search by the first part of the number. The phone number, the area code for where I want it is 201. Okay, and so we're going to apply. And typically 201 is not available. And so the next area code that they have set up, meaning the cell, I guess, the wireless provider, the phone carriers, is 551 area code. And then we're going to click apply. And then what you're going to do is you're going to look for an area or a town that's nearest to that the business where the client or whoever you're setting it up for. And so let's go ahead with this number. And so before you purchase it, before you purchase that number, what I would recommend is to go and do a Google search, because what you want to do is you want to make sure that that phone number has not been used previously with a maybe some hackers or robocalling. So this one looks good. Typically, if there is a lot of pages associated with that number, or you see anything that looks spammy, I would go and I would pass that number and go find another number. And so now that we have then you'll go ahead and purchase the number. And so when you go and purchase this number, you're going to make sure that you inform the client ahead of time. And the reason for that is they need to go through a verification process. And so you're going to get the following pop-up that's going to require them to get verified. All right, so when you do the A2P registration, there are two phases. The first phase is you are registering and getting approved on the brand. What I mean by that is that basically you're submitting your business information, and what they're going to do is they're going to verify that you're registered and it's a legitimate business. Just want to make sure when you the documents that I ask for from the client is specifically the company formation documents, and then also the EIN document that they get from the IRS. And so with those two documents, I'll utilize that to submit the registration. And so let's go through the process, and I'll show you exactly what needs to be done. If you're in a different country, it's the process might be a little bit different, but we're doing it for United States here. Okay, so let me move my face over. On this page, you're going to put the legal business name. If you're doing a DBA, you want to make sure that you're using not the DBA, but the actual company that is originally registered for, right, before the DBA. And then in the United States, you are using EIN. Other countries may be something different. You want to just make sure that you write the correct EIN number. And then here you want to provide the business email address, and then of course put your website. All right, so now let's continue. And then here what you want to do is you want to provide your the business name. Now when you're submitting Twilio, if you do operate from a home-based business, I do recommend that you put your address, right? On the website, I think initially I would recommend that you put your address, and then once you get approved, you can take it down and just put your the state and the town, state, and zip code, so that you take out the address. All right, so let's just go ahead and proceed. And then you would fill out whoever is authorized to speak on behalf of the company. You put make sure you put the email and the phone number, and then the job position, and of course the first and last name. All right, so let's continue. All right, so you want to submit for low volume. Now, with regard to this, there is a fee associated with submitting this registration. And so what HighLevel has told us previously is that if you do get rejected, they're not going to charge you. Previously, every time you get rejected and you reapply, you were charged, but that is not the case. There is just these one-time charges. Now, how I handle it with the clients is typically I do charge like a setup fee for most of my clients, and then what I do is I give them a credit on their account because I have rebilling because I'm on the highest plan. So I do have rebilling, and so I do give credit to each account, $25 to $35, to take this into consideration, because I don't want the client to be charged again when I charge them, right? So that, I think it's going to leave a kind of a bad taste in their mouth if they get charged. So I do give them a credit so that this fee is going to be reduced from the credit. Okay, so let's move on. Now, here is where, so recently, as I'm filming this video, HighLevel has basically created a streamlined process where they're using the chat widget as the submission. Now, understand that, you can only, like, if your client's website has forms already and it makes it difficult for you to implement this chat widget strategy, then you may have to go with the manual. But if you are creating a brand new website from the get-go, right? Then you can utilize the quick setup. And so I'm going to go through this process. And the reason I go through this process is so that it already helped me pre-fill some of the information when I do, if I decide to do the manual setup. So let's just go ahead and continue. And then in this one, what you want to do is you want to, in most instances, most businesses are going to go with mixed, because you want a combination of transactional and non-marketing. And of course, you're doing this so that you can market your client's business. So you want to go with the mixed. And of course, low volume. Now, age gated, I honestly don't know what that is, so I will not check that off. Okay, so there are more guidelines for that. So if that applies to you, you're going to have to do your due diligence. And so let's just go ahead and continue. And so here is the chat widget. What you're going to do is you're going to copy this code and embed that into your HighLevel account, or your HighLevel website, or your client's website if you are utilizing some other platform. And so everything is pre-filled out. And so what you're going to do is continue. So here again, I'm going to zoom this in a little bit. As you can see, important, remove all contact forms from pages where the chat widget is embedded. So this is very important, right? So you want to make sure you get rid of all contact forms that's within the client's website. All right, so then let's just go ahead and continue. Zoom out a little bit here. So as you can see here, all of this information is pre-filled, so you don't have to worry about it, okay? I'm just gonna go make sure I'm gonna go over these line items here. I'm gonna zoom it in so I can see it. So my website is live and does not give any 404. So make sure that it's mapped properly, okay? And then I have made sure my terms of service and private policy are added to my website. Now, as I said, even though the chat widget goes to a lead connector terms and condition, and their lead connector's private policy, the affiliate that I was working with that got approved within 2 days utilizing this setup actually got utilized that. And so there's no, I thought that you have to go and change those links to be applicable to your terms and condition on your page, but she was able to get it through. But if you do get rejected, the best thing to do is to go get on Zoom with HighLevel, specifically the team that deals with A2P registration, and get their help with this, okay? So let's continue. I have made sure my address, business email, and phone number, so like I said, address, right? And used to verify the brand is present on the website, okay? I think that, I'm not sure if my company, the one that I'm submitting for, actually has a business email. I'm gonna have to check, right? But just make sure you have those. I have verified that there's no mention of affiliate or buying of leads on my document or website. I've successfully integrated the chat widget code onto my website. I confirm no forms collecting phone numbers or SMS opt-in consent exists on any page where the chat widget is embedded, right? So you make sure all of these are checked, and then you go ahead and submit it. And once you submit it, hopefully you get approved in 2 days, 48 hours. So it may take longer, but just, that is out of my control. All right, so let's go and do for custom setup, where you have to basically, let's go backwards, basically update the client's website. Okay, so let's go back and do a manual setup, and then continue. So here, I'm just going to zoom in so I can see, zoom in a little bit. Okay, so then here we go. Chat widget, and it's going to say or contact form. contact us form. Okay, and then here in the chat widget and or um, contact us form. So, and the reason I like this is because it's already pretty much pre-filled based on what we submitted with the chat widget, right? We received your recent inquiry and a team member will follow up shortly. This is promotional marketing sample message. This is transactional. So you have the ability, if you want, to go click on this and see examples. And if it's more applicable to your business, you just copy and paste it. That's basically what it is, right? And then, so with this website, we don't really have promotion, but it's more of appointments. So I'm just gonna change your coming appointment. I'm gonna change that, highlight this, and paste that message because I copied it. All right, so embedded links, if you don't have it, then you can uncheck it, but I would keep these two on by default. These two, financial services, I think deals with like mortgage, and those have more restrictions. So just leave those two if it's not applicable to you. Say continue. Okay, so opt-in method, right? So whatever opt-in method you utilize, in most instances, it's going to be a website form, right? And so let me go over some of these a little bit in detail. So entering a phone number along does not grant permission to send SMS. SMS consent must be collected explicitly. So this is where the two checkbox comes into play. And so I'm going to share with you just shortly. It is also in my snapshot. So if you do want to join my community, I have I'm going to keep my training most up to date in my community. So that's probably the best place for you to join. And if you want to keep updated, because I'm not going to be, HighLevel is constantly changing their processes and their features. And so this video might be outdated a year from now, but hopefully, you're watching this, go check out, join my community. I'll put the link to my community below in the description. All right. So with regard to these checkboxes, the two main things you want to make sure is that they're not required. You cannot make these two required, right? And then also the private policy and the terms must be publicly accessible and must clearly state that SMS is consent is not shared with third parties except for SMS providers, right? And then the business name or the declared DBA must match exactly used in the A2P registration, okay? SMS disclosure must cleanly state who's sending it, what type of message, message frequency, data. So all of those have to be declared in those checkbox message. And also you have to comply with this. And so HighLevel is awesome about that because their platform is set up so that it complies with this, right? If you do mess around with those default settings, that is on you, okay? This checkbox collects, so basically, I'm going to go over those two checkboxes. So I'm going to go here, okay? I'm going to pull in my wording, and this wording is going to be, if you want these, like I said, it's going to be in the community, and I'm going to provide the link to this in the community as well. I could probably put the link, and that's probably, like I said, I don't want to freely give out, not freely give out, but, I could make this link available, but like I said, I constantly change it. So best to go check out the community. Okay. So these two are what was utilized by HighLevel, right? I just copy and pasted it. I may change it. Actually, you know what? I'm going to get rid of this here. See terms here. Okay. And because what I do here is I agree to the terms and condition and private policy. I make this required because in the United States, you are required to get consent for email. So I just want to be compliant. And so I make this required and these two optional, right? And so now the tricky part is, if somebody fills out the information and this is me going down the rabbit hole again. And so if they don't check it now, like, do you have to, now you're not allowed to send SMS. And so that's where the basically HighLevel has the system built in so that they have the ability to send, put in stop or the unsubscribe. And so that is where HighLevel system is really good because it does, set that up by default. Okay. I hope that makes sense. So let's move on. Okay. Let me zoom out a little bit here, right? And so how do customers opt in? Customers opt in to receive SMS by completing an online form okay, that's good. Your enrollment is confirmed. I don't know about your enrollments. I'm going to change this messaging. You are subscribed to receive. I think I like this one. So I'm just gonna hit that. Actually, I think I do have to put in opt-in messages here. Customers opt in to receive SMS, so phone number through a online website form. Either way, I think they're both about the same. Proof of consent. Oh, I don't know about that one here. Proof of consent. This is new. All right, so I got a little bit confused here. I think you have to put in the opt-in form URL here. And so when you fill that out, it should automatically fill it out here, as you can see right there. It automatically pre-fills it, so does it automatically. So by visiting, okay, and then as we go down here, now what it does is it's going to give you a compliance checklist. And so my website is live. Okay, let me zoom this in so you can see it. All right, my website clearly displays my business name and contact details. I think what I am missing is the email. I'm gonna have to go update it and make sure, but make sure you do take care of that. Any DBAs, all the business name used must be it must be disclosed, right? I have provided my business website and opt-in. Yes, I did. My opt-in method is clearly shown. Did that. My opt-in flow includes all required disclosure messages. Yeah, I did that. My private policy is published. Terms of service published. But my website does not reference reference purchase, rented, or affiliate lead list. So we're going to go ahead and what it does is going to check out your website and make sure everything is compliant. So let's go check on that. And while that's happening, I am going to update my website. All right, so as you can see, I have failed based on their compliance. So I'm going to go ahead and, like I said, this is a little bit, what do you call it, more in detail, and it's a little bit more complex. And so I would try to go with the chat widget if at all possible, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and make these. I think I may have inputted the wrong contact, the URL, and that's why it's not picking it up. So let me go ahead and no sharing, and then also carrier liability disclaimer. If you hover over this, it's going to give you whatever clauses that you need. And so let's just go ahead and make those changes. All right, so what I would do here, I just, you just hover over this and then you just double click it, and then I would just copy, and then you can copy that over to your private policy page, and also terms and conditions do the same. All right, so I updated everything, and so let's go ahead and do that again. All right, so for some reason, I put the right URL for the form, and I've added these, and it's still giving me that problem. So, but I'm just going to go ahead and proceed, and then I'm going to go ahead and proceed anyway. And so what that's going to do now is gives you an overview of everything that I filled out, and then we're going to go ahead and submit the application, right? Of course, you want to make sure you verify everything, and then you go ahead and click submit afterwards. Submit, okay? All right, so you're going to land on this page. Basically, you want to review every information here before you submit the application. And let's just go ahead and submit. Go ahead and confirm, and then let's go confirm. All right, so now that it's been submitted, what I'll do is I'll put in the pinned comments, specifically, what happened, if I need to do a follow-up video, or if I need to, give you any information that's relevant. But in most instances, I've done this many times. If I do have issues, go get with HighLevel support, specifically dealing with A2P, and they will definitely help you get it approved. All right. Thank you for watching, and I hope, I know it's a long video, but thanks for bearing with me. Hope this video was helpful. Okay, bye now.